Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Adventures with Blaze. Today is going to be somewhat different. We're not going to be out on the road. You're going to be in my garage, workshop, man cave, think tank, whatever, going over the installation of what I think will be a major safety improvement for Blaze and me, called a hotspot. A hotspot is relatively recent invention in the velomobile world, 2-3 years I guess now. Obviously before Blaze was built, before these became available. And basically a hotspot is a streamlined fairing that mounts to the highest point on the velomobile, and they will hold headlights, taillights, turn signals, radar, cameras, a combination of any of the above. The particular one that I'm installing will hold a Bush and Mueller IQ-XL headlamp, and it will, on the back, I'll have my radar mounted. And I'm going to be shooting this video over the course of several days as I get things finished up and to the point of being able to put into a video, as well as some pictures. So I hope that you will find this interesting. If you have a velomobile such as mine, maybe inspire you to do the same. But for right now, the first thing I want to do is not so much talk about the hotspot, but some of the mods that I've made to Blaze as a result of the hotspot installation. There are a couple of little side projects that came up, and then we'll get into the hotspot as it stands right now and the light. So let's go on. All right, now for starters, you can see that I have removed the full race hood and I have installed the open hood, and that'll be for the duration of this install because I have to have the hood off for working on it. The open hood and the racing hood up to this point has had this, it's called a helmet light, that I mounted. And again, in the front it's a white flasher, and the rear a red flasher. Again, to just make me a little more visible to all of the larger pickup trucks and SUVs that are common in this area. Just going over some of the other safety features that I use when I ride. Up front, I've got dual headlamps, and I keep those on low power as a daytime running lamp. Got the turn signals. Again, I got the little helmet light. And in the rear, I've got tail lights, brake lights. Down here, two more tail lights, turn signals. And here is my radar unit. That also has a flashing light, and when a car is detected, it shifts the flash pattern to make it more visible. And that's at about, I think I measured it earlier, about 24 inches off the ground. When I put the hotspot on, I will be able to raise that up to about, I think I measured it's going to be about 42 inches off of the ground. So it'll make me much more visible to the oncoming traffic. Now, one of the things that I had to do on the racing hood I had this same mount for the radar that was no longer needed, and I had it mounted about the same spot. So I took that mount off, and then, you know, while I was monkeying around, I said, hey, I got a great idea. And I took and riveted that mount to the steering bar, and that's what holds my bike computer. The one I use is a Brighton S800. Does all kinds of neat stuff. Now, one of the first things that I did, I've got to get power to the light. So right here is the battery that I had been using on my trike that I carried over. It's a high capacity 12 volt lithium iron battery that just has tons of capacity, and that's right there is where it plugs into the electrical system on the trike. It gives me my horn, my signals, headlights, taillights, all that. This battery was the one that came with Blaze when I bought him, and at this point I've just been using it as a spare. So right now I've got this battery is velcroed to the fender well. This battery is velcroed to this battery. So I had to make a power cord, and that's it right here. Comes up, runs underneath the coaming all the way back. Let's see if we can get some light on this. All the way back to here. Now this is the connection for the tail lights and the brake lights. And this is the new connection that will connect to the headlamp that I'm putting in there. So this was and then you can see the wire here coming back through. That was one of the first mods that I had to do to make this work. The next thing I had to do was play around with the housing to find where I wanted it. And this is about it right here. You can see that sticks up quite nicely. And I used a level and found that this was probably the highest spot on it. Now, next was to prepare the hood for the light. So here's mounting bolts for securing it. And this is a large hole that I drilled for the wires to pass through. Now, once I get the wires on, this will get a rubber grommet to keep the wires from chafing. Whoops. Okay, so here we'll come through right here, then we'll go through here, and you can see that I've got it already laid out with zip ties for the wire to run back. The wire will be inside this piece of, they call it snake skin to protect it, and the wire will come out, and I'll have it zip tied next to this one, because this is actually the connection that comes up to the lights. The other thing I did on the back here where that mount was, I plugged one hole and then I put a red reflector on it, just because you can never have too much. Now, one of the interesting things about this light that I have is that it has a power cable. This one is actually designed to be used with e-bikes, and it has a power cable that will wire into the e-bike battery. And this thing will run off anywhere from 9 to 48 volts. And it's got a little control. When you turn it on by the battery, it will come in on low beam. Well, it's also got a little button that I can change it to high beam, or, you know, if I hold it I can turn the light on and off, which I probably won't. And I probably won't do high beam too much. But the problem with this cable is, according to the manual that came with the light, thou shalt not cut it. And I touched base with the manufacturer, and they said that technically you can, but you're going to void your warranty. And after spending what I spent on this light, I did not want to do that. So I had to get creative. And you can see right here, this piece of Velcro, that's where I had the camera mounted at that one time. And I just never took the Velcro off. Well, that's where the switch is going to be. So it'll come, the wire will come through here, come around to there. And you can also see in here that I have taken and put foam in here, because I use this as a helmet, because I just can't physically keep a helmet on there without it being getting in the way of things. So I put foam in, and then I wear a lightweight bump cap. And while I had this down and out, and you can see here, another secondary project was more foam that I cut, that once I get the wiring run, I'll go back in here and fill in the empty spaces. Now here's a little bit better look at the hotspot itself. This is 3D printed, and it is designed, like I said, to mount a Busch and Mueller IQ XL headlamp. To get there, you give this a quarter turn, the nose comes off, and then you can see right here the headlight mounting ear mounts. Then you can come in from both sides to tighten it down and adjust it. And that leaves a fair amount of airspace around it. And this also gives it enough, I think, because the light gets hot, and that was one of the things that was mentioned to me online, and my own testing proved that. So if you look at the back here, these two holes came in printed into it where I could put Kellerman lights in it. Well, I'm not doing that, because right here is where my radar will mount, and that effectively comes down to about here. So I had enough space right here. I drilled another hole into it for air to escape. So hopefully that doing all that will keep the headlight cool enough that I don't cause any issue on it. And I'll have some photos that I'm going to put in right behind this clip that will show this as I got it. It was black. It didn't really look bad at all. There's kind of a flat black with slight striations, and it actually looked pretty cool. It could have been used straight like that, but after I put it up on the Velo, I just didn't like the black with the red and white. So right now this has been primered, wet sanded, and I use 1 can of Testors Pearl White Metallic, and that just wasn't enough paint. So I've got 2 more cans coming, and we're going to see how that works out. So that's about it for this right now. Monday I hope to have the paint, and I'll get this finished painting, I hope. This is the IQ XL headlamp. Right here is the little mounting ear that'll go between those ears inside, or tabs inside the housing. And it's got a barrel bolt that goes through there that will tighten down. Power cable, and there's the connector that I spliced into the harness. The grommet that I will use. And why isn't the grommet in there, you say? Well,
It's because when I take the top part, because this is a two-part switch that meant to go on a handlebar, I've epoxied it to a piece of wood that will stick up into the front of the visor or front of the hood. And there's my indicator light. When it's in low beam, the light is green, just like a car. When I go to high beam, it goes blue. And like I said, you know, it's one click, high beam, low beam, or one hold, and it shuts the light on or off. Now, again, the reason the grommet's not in is that this piece, the top piece with the actual switch, will just barely fit through that hole in the hood. So what I'm going to have to do is slide this and the other cable through the hole, then install the grommet. And then I'll take and, you know, get this all zip tied, secured into place, and we'll be good. I have tested this son of a gun, and it is bright, even on low beam. So I think this is really going to enhance me being seen coming down the road. Plus the fact that it's going to be about, I don't know, 1.5 feet higher than my headlights are right now. So, you know, going down the road, use this on low power, keep my headlights on low power. So I'll have three lights looking at you coming down the road, and then on the back I'm going to have that the radar's light, which is quite bright. So I think, again, all of this is being done in the name of safety, and I certainly hope that that's the way it turns out. Now, this is probably as far as I'm going to go with this today, but once I get everything put back together and get the race hood remounted, then I'll come back out and we'll shoot some more video and pictures and whatnot to finish this episode off. So that's all for right this minute. Stand by for more. All right, finally, it is time to put this into this. I am glad that I didn't just try to paint this without priming it. The primer that I used was a light gray as opposed to the black that it was. And it ended up taking 6 or 7 coats of the white to cover the light gray. The paint is so transparent. And after I finished that, then I put in 2 coats of clear. And it's looking pretty good. One thing that I did on this, you'll notice the mounting ears. I felt that the fit between the tabs and the corresponding tab here, I felt it was too tight and that it was pushing these out a little bit. And I was afraid that with that amount of pressure it might break. So I took a file and I filed them down gently to where I got a fit that I was happy with. Now, what I have found from playing with this thing, that it is a pair of hemostats and a pick. I use the pick as a drift pin. So, at this point, give me a minute, I'm going to take and get the wiring in the thing and wired and get the headlight about where it needs to be, and then we'll pick this up again. Alright, now I've got the light in the housing, and I've got the pick that I'm using as a drift pin in there holding it, and this comes with a barrel bolt type assembly. And I'm going to take this one, get it in the hemostat. Of course, when I did this the last time, it all went perfect. But you know how that works when you're actually trying to do something. So now let's pull this partially out. Get that partially in. Take the wrench through the housing. Get that in. Take the drift out. Got it. Now, we'll take the bolt, same thing, get the hemostat, slide that in, hold it, take the other Allen wrench that came with it, and got it snugged up. So we now have a headlight. Now, where I positioned this on the hood, I did it without the headlight in it. And I ran the level across here so that it was totally vertical. So now when I take and put this down, I'm going to leave this loose for right now. And then we'll take and I'll put a little down cat on it before I end up putting the thing in here. But you can see I've still got some space in there for airflow, so I hope we'll be all right there. But this I'm going to keep off until I've actually got this on the hood and I can adjust it, because the last thing I want to do is blind a driver. So next thing, to make this work, I've got to take the top part of the switchback off so I can thread it through the hood and then get the grommet in. So stand by for that. Okay, here we go for the next part. Got the power cord, going to thread him on through. And so this is a tight one. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Get those in. Now we can fit the grommet so we don't chafe wires. All right. Okay, you're about to see it as it happens. Up come the light, down go the wires. In goes bolt number 1. Now at this point, I'm just going to put these in and get it snugged. Then I'm going to take later, before I mount this to the before I mount this back to the Velo, I'll take these nuts off, put a little bit of blue Loctite on them so that they don't vibrate loose, because that's the last thing I want. But at this point, I don't want it tight. I want it loose so I can have the ability to do whatever I need to do to make it right. We got it. All right. We have now got this beast mounted. It looks pretty darn good. So let's pause this for a minute, because the next thing I need to do is flip this thing over and get the wiring. All right, here you can see this is where I've got the switch mounted. Now when it's actually on the Velo and I'm looking up, I can reach the switch, but like I said, I don't anticipate using that much, so this was a good spot for it. I didn't have to mess with the wire and worry about voiding my warranty. And I got it run back through here, push the excess back into the housing, then I got the power cable going through the bulkhead, again through a grommet. Next up, after I get the bolts the way I want them and get them Loctited, I'll get the foam put back in here and cover all this up. Now coming back into here, the next step will be to run the wire through the snake skin and then get it zipped, tied into place, and that will pretty much complete this part of the installation. All right, now here you can see we got it all nicely secured with the snake skin, which is probably totally overkill, but that's just the way I run. Got it all the way through the back, then it comes up here, zip ties to the original power cable, which gets power to the tail lights and the brakes. And then this is where I will attach to the power cable that I ran inside the body. Now at this point, we're going to end this for the moment. I'm going to get this thing flipped over and see that I have it the way I want it. And then we're going to take the bolts out one at a time, put some Loctite on them, tighten them down, put the foam in, and then we'll be ready to mount this son of a gun to the Velo. All right, here we go. I've got the foam in, got the Loctite in, and the only thing left with this project is to remove the convertible top and put the full hood on. The next time you see this project's going to be complete except for adjustments. All right, and here it is, the head-on view. I adjusted the hotspot light to the same level that my headlights were on the garage door.
And this is what you're going to see if you're coming down the road at me. We got the hot spot. And this is what you're going to see if you're coming up behind me. Between the Veloz taillights and the Guardia. I think that this is going to be a very nice increase in personal safety for me. I will take this out on the street and later and verify that I'm not going to be blinding drivers. But this is what it's like for right now. And here we have the completed project. I think the Tamiya Pearl metallic white matched the side pretty good. And it looks pretty good on top of the Velo. So there you have it, folks. This was the hotspot housing that I bought from Northland Velo, 3D printed. Bush and Mueller IQ XL headlamp, and the mount for the Guardia. So there we have it. This has been an interesting project, to say the least, and I think it's going to be a good project. Oh, and the nice thing about the way this is mounted, I did check earlier, I can now, when I finish my ride, while I'm sitting in the garage cooling off a bit, I can reach out the side of the hood and shut the radar off before I had to wait until I climbed out. So anyway, here you have it. Hopefully this will inspire you or whatever. Until the next time, this is Larry, Adventures with Blaze, signing off.